how much are you willing to research? How much time are you willing to put in um, to learn about a company? Like it doesn't take much, but you have to be willing to put that in. So, um, I usually, okay, I don't know what that is, but what I usually tell people is, start looking into stuff that you already know, that you already use. Start and start researching those companies. Like don't get on Facebook and get in the Facebook group and okay, I just opened my account. What should I invest in? Like you don't know what other people's situations are. Be real with your situation. You know, uh, are you attempting to trade, or thinking that you're gonna make short-term money? And if that's the case, you can't go in with a Warren Buffett feel like, okay, so I'm gonna trade, but I'm gonna trade value stocks. Like that's not it doesn't add up. So you have you kind of have to search yourself and see, where are you and what are your goals. And once you figure that out, if you're trying to invest, if you're trying to trade, if you're trying to invest and you know that it's going into, these are going to be companies you want to add to your 401k or add to your child's account, then you're going to be looking for a company that has some staying power, that's going to be here 5 years, 10 years from now. So think about things that you use and you buy now and look into those companies. Are you know do they make products that, and do they have management that can sustain them for the next 3, 5 years, 10 years? Are they making the financial moves that they ought to be making? um, you know just learn about the company, learn about it. I mean, that's the basic you can do, is just start learning about companies. Start and he pulled up a good site, FinViz, and you can type in the ticker. And this is one of the great sites that I like to learn about companies because it gives you so much information. Even if you're not familiar with charts, you can still go to FinViz, and like he said, you pull up Facebook. Like he has here, you can pull up Facebook and you can scroll down and it'll tell you, it'll give you information about the company. It'll give you analysts. What you see right here is analysts price targets. So this is what analysts that are, um, they work for the investment banks that hold the stocks of Facebook, that hold hundreds of thousands and millions of stock. These are the prices that they expect Facebook to go to over the next year to 2 years. So you can kind of get an idea of where the price should be ranging or could be ranging
Market
in the next
sentiment
year.
among that group.
Right, right. You can scroll down on this page and get news about Facebook. Now, it's for the larger stocks, like for the FANG stocks, because they run so much of the market on this site. You'll get a lot of news just about the general market because they pretty much are the market. But uh, other stocks that are not as, like if you pull up I don't want you to change this yet, not just yet.
Okay, okay, got you.
But if you pull up another stock, the news section will look a little bit different, and I'll have him pull up something else in a second. But scroll down some more, and it'll tell you about exactly what the company does, and right here, exactly what the company does, and the people that own and made trades in the company, insider trading. Um,
The link is to the page to FinViz is in the chat bar, guys. Just copy and paste onto a page and okay, go ahead, Mo. I just dropped it
No,
in.
it's all good. It's like, okay, now I know it's some people that's looking at this like, Dad, it's a whole lot. I don't know what that means. Insider trading and looking at the chart and analysts, recommendations or analyst price targets. Like what's like that's not the point. The point is for you to become familiar with the market and the participants of the market. Um, I want to say, no. I will say you have to find a reliable market news source, and I stress the word reliable and as unbiased as possible. Um, every news outlet has a bias. It's just important to find one that has uh, as least, or is as unbiased as possible to
Right.
get market news and to make yourself um, familiar with the market. Read up. Um, if you could pull up investing.com,
Okay. Okay.
investing.com. This is a
Right.
site that I usually refer people to, because they also have an app. And the app can come on your phone, and I get, you can get all kind of news and alerts, and they do great things daily. Like they'll give what to expect for the market for the day, and you can get just a lot of information here too. But and all of these sites that will give you, and that will show, like, I'm almost certain that a lot of people won't, it'll be too much, but that's okay. You just got to be willing to get in the water. You have to be willing to get in the water. And if you're willing to take time, and you sitting down, okay, I open my account, I put $500 in it. Now what do I do? All right, he said, look at something that that's around me. All right, well, I'm on this computer, and I'm on Facebook right now. So what about Facebook? So that's when you start looking, okay, so what does Facebook do? What we all know who's the CEO, but as far as, like, their products, what products do, how does Facebook make money? Like, what do they sell? How do they make revenue? Are they making good revenue? Is their revenue and their profit, are they as good as or better than all of those things? Like, if you go to these different sites and you type in Facebook, you can get this information. And then also, like JD said earlier, your broker will provide you with information. No matter what broker you're with, they have some type of news outlet or some type of research outlet or some type of um, something to where you can get more information on that company. So yes,
Yeah.
all of these sites are overwhelming. When you get TD Ameritrade, when you get to Thinkorswim, yes, it's so much stuff that it's gonna fry your brain. But what you're not going to use all that stuff. There's not any trader that uses all that stuff on any site or on any platform. The thing is for you to get you and get where you feel comfortable. And I really believe that if you get your site, you get your account, and you take the Peter Lynch approach, and you start looking up companies and just start researching about what they do and who run the company, and maybe get a book or two that talks about investing. There are a lot of great you can Google classic investing books, and if like a few of them just run off at, like, security analysis, random walk down Wall Street, intelligent investor, how to make money in stocks. What's Peter Lynch's book? I can't think of the name of Peter Lynch's book,
I'll pull it up.
or Phil Fisher's book, but Common Stocks, Uncommon Profits. Like, all of those books are classic investing books. And the same when you talk about One Up on Wall Street, that's it. If you're talking about investing, and you want to look at a company and put it away for the next 2 years, three, that's exactly what he did and what he made hundreds of millions of dollars doing. That's exactly what Warren Buffett did and what he made billions of dollars doing. That's exactly what Phil Fisher did and what he made hundreds of millions of dollars doing. So why not read about how they think and how they did that? Yes, times are different, but the information is out there. It's just, you just got to find what speak to you, and navigate your way through. But you have to get in the water. Like, you can't expect somebody to give you your next $1 million stock. Each one of these people that wrote these books and that got rich, yeah, they learned from people, and they took classes, and they gleaned, but then they got on their own, they researched, they found their system, and they found the stock in their system, and that's what made them rich. So it's on you to kind of do the same thing.
Hey Mo, I'm hearing you clearly, seeing you clearly. Cliff mentioned that it's maybe it's his connection. Or am I coming through clear to you? Is everybody? Are you guys getting this information clearly?
Yeah, just put a little thumbs up or a yes
Okay.
or something in the chat
I think it
if you
might
can.
be yours, Cliff. I think
Okay. Yeah,
yeah, it
everybody's
might
saying
be
it's
a
good. So,
mouse stepping on the cable, man. But
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 this is something. One more thing I like to say is, in I don't like to put people down in the groups or whatever. Like, everybody everybody posts whatever they want to post in the different groups. And, a lot of people like to post their wins. It's a lot of people that post their losses, or whatever. My thing is, it's not about the money. Even, folks that I coach, whether it's even in crypto or whether it's with stocks, I tell them, it's not about the dollar amount. It's, about the percentage. It's about the percentage growth, and how you get consistent percentage growth is through a process. You, it's hard to vet somebody's, um, picture posts of their win. If they won $10,000 or what. I mean, not one. I hate to say one like that, but if they made $10,000 on a trade or anything like that, it's hard to vet that screenshot. But it's very easy to vet somebody's process. Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody is out here laying out, exactly how they look at certain things, and it work or it don't work. I mean, it's easy to vet a process. And all of these guys, the Warren Buffetts, the Peter Lynch's, even the Robert Smith, like I ain't gonna leave out the black, my people, the Robert Smiths, the Melody Hobsons, and um, the folks at Ariel Investments, like they
Right.
have a process. It's a process, and um, James Rogers figured out what was right for him. He found his lane, and he stuck to it, and he just got good at it. And some folks, y'all, some people might not have the time to actually trade. Um, some
Well,
people might do now, and so trading might be in your thing. So you might want to look into short term trading, but you just gotta find you. So my bad. I'm gonna stop
no,
talking.
no, shoot, man, that's what we need. This is what we need. And Mo dropped gems, and he and I are on similar paths. Um, but one thing, my primary profession, my day job that I put food on the table with is baseball. I'm a baseball scout, and it's being a baseball scout is a
That is
lot
so
like
dope, bro.
picking stocks, because I need to see what I need to see young man at the age of 16, and I have to project 10 years down the road, 5, 10. What is this young man going to be when he matures? When as so as my value as a scout, you have to have a process of establishing what I like, what I feel are key traits and fundamentals that are key to a young man developing. And I have to evaluate his process, just like what Mo was saying, that everybody you can't vet a screenshot. You can't vet like grab that bag, baby. Hopped in this another penny stock and got it. You know, okay, but now some people have a process to the penny stocks. Now that's a different thing. But what I'm saying is, like, when we're starting out, let's say I have $60. I saved up quarters for 3 weeks, picking up, uh, cold drink money at the job. And I said, okay, man, I'm going to get this. I'm getting in here. The first thing I need to know, one of the things is, okay, we got the broker. Let's say we go to TD Ameritrade. We have an information overload. Boom, I fund my account. What next? Mo mentioned, okay, let's think about things that uh, I wear Nike. I wear Adidas, or hey, I like craft, or you know what? I went to Dollar General the other day. I bought do they have a stock? Those are the questions you're going to start asking. You're going to start, and you
Hmm.
have to find out, is this company a publicly traded company?
Hmm.
Now, we'll go a little bit further, but the next thing is, it's like, okay, so you say you buy your first share of stock, but you like the company, and you spend $60. Uh, Let me find one right in here, man. That's Twitter. Let's just go Twitter. Twitter is $29. Not a recommendation, not a buy, sell, or hold, but Twitter is $29. You want to buy 2 shares of Twitter because you're always on Twitter. You're tweeting. You're following people. You said, when do I buy it again? Yeah. The first thing you need to establish as an investor, what is your time horizon? What what when we establish our time horizon to say, okay, I'm going to buy Twitter with an outlook to say, you know what, over the next 2 to 3 years, I feel that Twitter has a market hold. And this is without even looking at going through all the investment, going through vetting it properly online and looking at research. It's like I like Twitter, man. I'm on Twitter all the time. I'm following everybody, blah blah blah. But establish a time horizon. And Maurice always talks about it. I let him touch on the why, but you need to have a compelling reason to say, why am I getting in Twitter? Because if you establish your investment strategy, which it says, am I long term, am I mid term, medium term, or short term? And when I say short term, I'll see people hop into a stock that's hot, that's popping, that's jumping, and they haven't vetted it, and that thing reverses on them, and they say, "What do I do now? Do I get out?" Or it shoots up, and they're like, "You know what? Do I take profit? I could exit out with $36 in profit." If you establish your time horizon or your investment strategy, if it's long term or whatever, that's going to prevent it's going to prevent that immediate what now, because you need to
Man,
have expectations, but in plans, best laid plans will go to the wayside. So when you hop into a stock, the mindset, we have to go into trader psychology, investor psychology,
yep,
expect a pullback. Expect, can you handle a downturn in a market like this? Because right now we're in a volatile market. And if you do, and I'm not saying, hey, just avoid getting in, because sometimes you just have to get in and you're going to expect it. And one of the ways that I initially learned how to invest in the market was through dollar cost averaging. And I'm on Investopedia. I typed in dollar cost averaging, DCA. And it's basically you put the same amount of money into your account over a period of time. And if the stock, and let's say you're buying Twitter's at $29, 29 bucks now, and every couple of weeks you get $60 in your account. You buy 2 shares if it's at 29. If it drops down to 20, you still, you might, I mean, shoot, you're getting 3 shares. That's 60 bucks. Drops down to 15, you might add to that. Basically, you're averaging into that. Now, that's a long-term plan, because there's a point to where if that thing just continues to just tumble and go down, you're averaging down. And some people even average down to zero, but that's another discussion for another day. But the idea is, if you want to begin this you step in, and you put money aside, and you just have to jump in sometimes. I'm not saying you sink your whole thing, but you allocate a certain percentage of your funds that won't that's not going to set you back financially, to where that you can risk, because it's going to be an emotional roller coaster. You're going to have questions. You're going to get in there, and especially one of the draws, the shiny draws, is everyone sees, oh man, MVIS or Mark, these the penny stock, this thing is 18 cents. Let me get in here. If I put 500 bucks in, I can get so many shares. And if it goes up 36 cents or $1, and this is true, I got the bag. And then when it does that, the psychology that steps in is like, you know what? If it goes up to $2, I can retire. And that's when it's a pump and dump in a lot of the cases. And the money goes out, and you go back to asking questions. And the phrase is, you're going to end up paying your tuition to the market if you don't study. If you don't, and whether you're studying with time or if you pay someone to help train you or whatever, but you're going to pay tuition to somebody, and rather it be via time spent studying instead of losing it in the market. So I'm a dollar cost average individual. And I'm also, what I wrote down was, we got the dollar cost averaging. And there's another thing, and I'm going to pass the mic to Mo, is that this is a drip program. People like dividends. People like, the dividend is almost, it's somewhat of a quarterly gift that your company pays to individuals. My son is a big time dividend investor. I say big time for a young man who just uses his own money, but he focuses on companies that are strong with a solid background and provide a dividend. It's basically, a DRIP is a dividend reinvestment plan whereby cash dividends are reinvested to purchase more stock in the company. And you don't have to do anything. You can set that on autopilot. So you could dollar cost average into a company that has dividends, and let that thing recycle. And once the dividends build up, it's almost basically you end up buying additional shares of that stock. And now with the fractional shares that are involved, you can end up buying fractional shares. So I mean, that that's a little bit down the road. But Mo, talk. There we go. Letting it recycle right there. Jordan said that, but talk to everybody. I call it the Mo Jack's why. Mo always talks about why. So go ahead if you can, brother.
um, what I usually, one of the main things I try to get to traders and investors and folks that I coach and teach is that before you, and it's funny, somebody in our crypto group posted something like this earlier, but even before you make your purchase, we want to have uh, a target price. We want to have a stop loss price. We want to have a time horizon like that. Well, the time horizon come first because that'll help, determine, our target price and our stop loss price. Um, but what overall um, guide that is the why, like your overall why. Why are you trading this? Why are you buying this? Why are you getting or putting your money into this company?
And you can
And
just say, because I want to, man. I got $38. I like Twitter. Let me get this damn stock.
that's
And
true. So
that's
I mean, you
that's a
you
why.
exactly right. That's a why. But as long as you have a why, then your why can guide. Okay, well, it's gone up such and such. Should I get out? It's
Right.
gone down such and such. Should I get out? A lot of my whys are tied into target price and stop loss price. So, um, you know, I usually just tell you got to have a rule and reason for getting into this. If I see
Write
that
that down, guys. Say it one
somebody
more time, Mo,
a
please.
ruling reason.
Yeah,
I
my
always
mind's on
say
you.
have a ruling reason for getting in, and when that reason is broken, that's when you get out. Um, so like if you buy in Twitter because somebody told you Twitter is gonna go up in the next couple of days because Dorsey is moving back from Africa, then
Right.
that's your why. And if he does move back and the price moves, then your ruling reason was broken or entered or whatever in that case, and you sell on the up. If he don't, then your rule and reason was definitely broken and you get out. I mean, and that's very like I want to put this out, like that's not exact, that's very um psychology based, but that's how you want to approach it, is that um you know why am I doing this? What am I getting this piece for? And if you're um, willing to ask yourself that question and answer it, truthfully and in depth, it will force you to know more about that company, know more about the price it's at, the price it's headed to, and
Historical pricing.
right, and where should that price not go in your favor, where you should call it quits. Um, like JD said, like a lot, it's it is a lot. Like I don't want to downplay that, but I also don't want to frighten folks from saying, well, this is just too much to get in. No, it's taking baby steps. One of the greatest stories that I like, well, kind of two in one, come from Warren Buffett. Like that's who I started studying. In undergrad and grad school, I studied like a madman, like everything. And so one of his things, like, he says, when you're starting out investing, think about if you're buying a farm. Like if you're buying a farm and that farm is going to provide the sustenance for your family for the next, few years, you know what I'm saying? Like all your meat and your vegetables are going to come from that farm. Then what are you going to look for in that farm? What will that farm have to have in order to feed your family? It's going to have, good land, good soil. You're going to have good seeds. You're going to have, good managers that come in and are able to till it, are able to water it, are able to harvest. And so when you take that analogy to any company and see that company as a farm. Okay, so what does my Facebook farm need to do in order to continue to bring me stuff? Well, in order for Facebook to continue to do their thing, they need to sell advertising. Are they selling advertising? Are they doing well in selling advertising? Are they keeping people eyes glued to Facebook and keeping people engaged? They seem to be doing a pretty good job to me. That farm seemed to be growing some good vegetables. So like that concept and his top 10 concept, he also said like, imagine for the rest of your life you can only make 10 investments, like and this, I
I
think
like
this is
that.
especially good for somebody starting out. If you put your $500 in and that's the only $500 you will ever have to make any investments ever, and you can only make 10, and once you make one, that's it, you can't take it back, then what's your 10 gonna be on? You know what I'm saying? Why are you really now? Are you really gonna choose Twitter, or are you really gonna choose Facebook, or if you got to choose between the two, which one? You know,
Oh,
because
so
you
if
can
I can
only
only
choose. You know
shoot
what I'm
my
saying?
shot
I can
10
only shoot my
times.
shot 10 times, and once I'm done with the 10, I'm gonna die, and then my children gonna live off of what I pick. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Like
That's a controlling brain
beginners,
right there.
those two like concepts Warren Buffett talked about. I don't know, it was a lecture or a writing or something he did, but those two just stuck out for me, and I think that just keeping those in mind for beginners. Like, yes, all of this is it take time. Like everybody that trades and that is successful or that invests and that's successful didn't start out that way, but they kept at it and they refined their process and they learned more, they read more, they applied more. And sometimes what they applied didn't work. They tossed it out of their process and read something else and added it in. It's something that I'm just learning now that I'm trying to add into my long-term process. And I'm slowly adding it in, slowly doing.
You, did I lose you, Mo? I think we lost you. Can you guys hear me? Am I the only one? Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me, because I've lost. Okay. Hey, Mo, we can't hear you if you're talking, man. Okay. Okay, Mo. We've lost you, man. I'm gonna pick it up, and when Mo comes back in, he can just jump in. Uh, he was mentioning the Warren Buffett phenomenon, in my opinion. I mean, Mo is big time with Warren Buffett. I'm Mo is I'm a researcher. I'm a detailed person. Mo is a researcher's researcher. He's an analyst. He dives in. He's going to break it down, because he used to ask me, "Hey JD, what's your price target on this? What's your price target on that?" But I used to be like, man, I'm just saying, I'm getting in this thing. You know, I like Microsoft. I'm I like the chart. I study charts, but I also uh, I basically, man, I mean, I like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I'm an emotional dude, but I also analyze well. But I use the Force, and try to visualize. Okay, does Microsoft have some smart people in that front office and in that C-suite? Bam, I like that. Does Facebook have some really smart jerks that are kind of ahead of the curve and kind of undervalued, in my opinion? And yeah. And then Mo ties in a lot of the research on that, to where, like, hey man, I know you were talking about biotechs earlier. There's some, the in, institutional money is really going into that. So one thing, when we're looking for stocks, one of the first things that everyone does is they look at the penny stocks. They see that, because if you see right here, it's always up. But there are certain types of stocks. You have the blue chip stocks. Those are the cream of the crop. And blue chip stocks. And I see Tyrese and Selena measure twice out, cut once, less chance for mistakes. I like it. I like it. Um, Blue chip stocks. I'm just going to read this to you. Blue chip is a nationally recognized, well-established, and financially sound company. Blue chips generally sell high quality, widely accepted products and services. Blue chip companies are known to weather downturns and operate profitably in the face of adverse economic conditions. That's big right here, because you get a smaller, less stable company. There's a chance, and I'll touch on that, Jordan, on the penny stocks in a second. But there's a chance that one of those smaller companies, it could take off. Like, I'm a fan of space. Virgin Galactic, I hopped in that on the IPO, but I did not sink my entire portfolio into space. I went incrementally into that company, and it ran up, and I cashed out on some calls, but also on the stock and the warrants, and my son and family or things like that. So, but blue chips are like a bigger ship. They're a bigger ship that can withstand. There's going to be a downturn, but that downturn is less turbulent in most cases. Sometimes you're going to get it, but if you're in a blue chip, a lot of times you want to find one that fits a certain bill, fits a certain criteria, and if you like it at $100 and it pulls back to 70, you better love it at 70. Now, on this screen, we talk about Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers was a blue chip in a way, but that was a house of cards in that industry, and I made some really good money during the financial crisis. I hate to say it like that, but I learned how to short stocks during that. I learned how to buy puts, and I learned how to analyze companies. And everybody, it was like certain in a bull market, you can throw a dart up on the board and you make money. In a historically bearish anomaly, you can throw the dart on the put side or on the short side, and you're gonna hit money. But that's the risky side of the market. We're gonna stay with investing, guys. I want you to research blue chips, and there's and let's see if we can get Mo back, but I definitely want to let you research blue chip stocks. That's a way for us to basically kind of, you can not nitpick, but you can establish your list, the list that you want, that you need. Uh, there's Mo. You basically, you're looking to build your list of stocks, your stocks that you're trying to. Hey Mo, you there?
Here we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, man. We lost you. Glad you're
Yeah.
back, brother.
Can you put back on the recording permissions?
Yeah, I
Oh, never
did.
mind. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I just had a little power glitch or something like that. I don't know what happened. Just
that's all right,
service stopped
Robin
and cut
Hood.
back
I know
on.
you had the
Right.
Robin Hood service at your crib, dog, with the mouse and the wheel. It just
Man,
we're gonna have to get that
crazy.
right, man. But
It's crazy.
I was just talking to him about blue chips, about
Hmm.
stock
Hmm.
selection, and which is key once you get going, because you're gonna every time. And Mo's mentioned it. I look on Facebook, which I mean, I love our groups, and go on Facebook right now, get in any one of your groups and say, look, I have $186.14. I need some stock suggestions. Man, people will hit you so quick. Hey, get this, brother, get this. It's going up. It's a guarantee. There's no guarantees in this industry. The only guarantee is the randomness of randomness, random price
Invest.
action. And people will say, oh, they are manipulating it. That's the Rothschilds. Yes, the Rothschilds. Okay, cool. What you gonna do about it? Are you gonna participate in the market? You're just gonna say it's the Rothschilds. That's why they keep the black man down. That's why my fade is looking like this. Okay, well, what you gonna do about it? Are you gonna decide to make a move? If you realize, say, I knew they were gonna do that. I knew he was gonna tell his boys about. Well, if you knew that, short the stock. If you knew that, buy in the sector where you think it's going to be effective. If you know so much, because we don't know, but what we do know is that there are companies and there are options that we can get in, and we have to. There's the cost of doing business, and there's going to be risk involved with this. Now, we can hold cash. We can put it under the mattress, like my mom used to do back in the country, which and that money was there. Or buy those silver bullion, and have a fiscal asset. Or, and a lot of people, I know Jordan mentioned penny stocks. If you can name me 100 penny stocks that have gone from the last 20 years from like 7 cents, like a true penny stock, from like 7 to 15 cents to up over like $80, $70, and still holding here because a lot of them go by the wayside. A lot of them are a pump and dump situation. Now, there are people who know how to analyze penny stocks, and a lot of times you're going to have to join a membership group, and they're going to say, hey, we're going to give you the best picks before they come out, blah, blah, blah. Our newsletter will highlight the best penny stocks, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, you can put some money in there. I mean, if you want to play around, if you had like a $300 just sitting off to the side, yeah, but we don't recommend penny stocks because they can be high. When they talk about manipulation, look, Boosie can go in and manipulate a penny stock with his bag, and he can push it and exit it out because they're so easy. The volume's so low, and a whale can basically sway the market, man. You go ahead and take back over, Mo. I'm just going to go to the next section about stock picking after you go continue with your down your line.
No, I was pretty much. I mean, you hit it on the head with this is exactly where I was headed was the blue chips. Usually, if you follow the, the 10 pick rule and the farm rule, it'll lead you to a blue chip dividend paying stock. It should. Um, those are some of the best to start with in research. And I'm not. If I don't put down penny stocks. That's just because I understand them, I guess, a little bit. They're on OTC markets, so those are highly speculative assets on the OTC market. That's why they're on the OTC market, and they're not on the New York Stock Exchange or the Nasdaq. Companies have to have us maintain a certain stock price and have a certain financial standard to be on the New York Stock Exchange and to be on the Nasdaq. And so I just personally prefer those companies that meet those expectations. Um, but
Over the counter is OTC. Everyone, I'm putting it
yeah,
in the chat.
OTC over the counter. And like I said, I'm not gonna put down penny stocks on anybody that trade them and make money off of them. Like there is there is a process for that. Just man, have your why, know what you're getting into, know what you're owning, why you own it. Like, if you're gonna be investing in penny stocks and biotech, most of them are biotechs. I ain't gonna say most of them are biotechs, but a lot of them are biotechs.
A
Um,
lot.
a lot of them are biotechs.
They're gonna say we had this new
Understand
liver.
what you're putting that money in and what that stock price movement is based on. Each industry, each sector, you know, the stock prices move based on different things, and so you have to just be willing to do the research into those type of stocks in order to get there.
Well, okay, man. I'm gonna put it like this. Um, this is you got the money. Let's say I mean, and you got. Let's say you had $75, $50. You can get started. You don't have to, and you don't have to join a group and join a membership group to get from a long-term investing standpoint. You don't have to get join a multi-level marketing or network marketing group to get all this study information is out there. It's now if you don't have time to do your study and if you want to get a little bit of direction and have someone walk you through it, that's when you secure the services of whether you take a course uh, or you have someone, a mentor, things like that. But if you're looking long-term investing, I'm gonna study on my own, man. Now you get in groups and you get like-minded individuals, but it, no one can sit and tell you, "Hey, man, get this, man. It's going up. It's definitely going." If that person knows it's definitely
Oh,
going up, you have them. That's when you vet the process. Okay, so why are you saying it? And then a lot of times someone can say, "Well, you know what? They just secured this particular um, uh, contract. I'm in. This is." I'm in that particular sector. Write this down, guys. Here's the key things that I erased it, but there are 11 sectors in the S&P 500, Standard and Poor's 500, S&P sectors. And I'm getting into Mo's area of expertise, but you have 11 sectors in your market, man, and I'll go even further with that. But let's see. I don't want to do U.S. news. More U.S.
You
news.
can
But
do the
anyway,
sector
okay, 11
spiders.
sectors. Materials. Say it again.
I was gonna say you could do the sector spiders. So we
And
do
I was gonna
SPDR.
let's see.
SPDR.
Here we go.
Sector spider list. There you go. There you go.
And we go down this list, guys, and the 11 sectors. And I wrote them down in different order, but first one, consumer staples. Consumer staples like Walmart, Procter and Gamble, and you can put and the ETF is an exchange traded fund, and it kind of tracks that particular sector, right? And let me just put the link to this in the chat. But you
Not that one. Not
not
that
this
one.
one.
Not
Which one
this
you
one.
want to
Not
go
that
with?
link. I'll get one and I'll put it in there.
Okay. And consumer discretionary, you have with that you have things like Lululemon, Grubhub, Uber, and the Uber Grubhub situation was a news-driven pop in that sector. When we're looking at things, we want to look long term. Is this noise or is this signal? You know, the rumor about Amazon taking over AMC, and then if you see those going in the chat or in the Facebook group, look down at the news source. If it wasn't like CNBC, Motley Fool, Investors Business Daily, that one came off like a video, something. You know, the source wasn't vetted. You have another sector, technology. You have healthcare, industrials, utilities, materials, uh, like Rio Tinto, um, energy sector with Duke Energy, the financials, which is going to be a volatile one. But you know, when the recovery happens, you try to figure out which particular sector is going to make that move. Real estate. Now, this is a section right now that's going to be touchy because you don't have necessarily just the hard asset real estate or the land. You're going to have also the real estate investment trusts that are there. They're called REITs, REIT, and they with everyone dealing with the forbearance, the loan forgiveness, the mortgage industry might be dealing with a little bit of it's deferred pain that's coming, that 90-day window, and then those extensions. I mean, Hertz was about to file bankruptcy. They asked for a 3-week extension to their creditors, gave it to them, and they still might have to file. But there's also the mortgage servicers who have to wait because they have investors that they want to return on their money, and they're not part of the government. They're like, look, there's no forbearance for my return on investment. So that's when you start researching uh, the different sectors. Like we said, Mo's gonna I think he put it in the chat. He put the sectorspider.com. Those are ways for you to look up those particular ETFs. Here's another topic, and these are homework topics to study. Blue chip ETF, the S&P sectors, and this is an exchange traded fund ETF that helps you. If you can't pick a particular stock, if you're like, oh, I like I'm interested in the financial sector. I'm interested in information technology, like with Facebook, the XLK covers that. They have Apple, Cisco, Facebook. Instead of if you don't think you can just pick that one stock, you can go to an ETF, or there's another thing called an index fund. It covers a lot. It gives a wider brush, basically. And during this time, there's so many particular there's so many areas that you can draw from, but sometimes it's hard to narrow it down. The S&P, okay, for example, Maurice and I recently traded the Qs, the QQQ. That's and Mo, you want to talk on a couple of index funds at all? Because I just think that you and I, we have different ideas on certain things, but I just know certain people right now, man. This market, it can go up. It could draw down another 6-7%. It could be a house of cards. So I track, I try to track market moves with index funds, like the Qs, which is QQQ, the SPY. You know, it covers that's a Standard and Poor. It kind of mirrors the S&P 500. The Qs, they mirror the Nasdaq. Uh, Go ahead if you want to step in, man.
Oh, well, I mean, well, the QQQ is actually an ETF that tracks the Nasdaq. I think it's the composite. I don't think it's the Nasdaq 100. I think it's
The
the
30
composite.
maybe, or oh, just
The composite.
oh, okay,
I
gotcha.
have to look. I have to look it up.
Let me
It's an
get that
Invesco
on.
ETF. And I believe it follows the Nasdaq composite. Um, but no, it's the
Nasdaq
100.
100.
Okay, that's dope. So it tracks the Nasdaq 100, and that's the Nasdaq 100 is the top 100 stocks on the Nasdaq, basically. And that's the actual index right there is the Nasdaq 100. The S&P 500 index, the SPX, that's the actual index of the top 500. Well, top, top meaning the top market cap or uh, like market cap is the price per share times the shares outstanding. So, Apple was $1 trillion market cap. Microsoft $1 trillion market cap. That's what they mean market cap. So, the top 500 market caps in the S&P 500 are in the S&P index. That SPY is the ETF that tracks that. So, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of index ETFs because there are if man, if somebody could try to invest in it and make money off of it, it's probably an index for it. There are indexes for countries, for currencies, for different industries, sectors. Like they're all kind of index funds. So it's hard to recommend a index fund or to go to an index fund. The objective of doing that is, like I was saying in the beginning, if you, you have to kind of like real know within yourself how much time you have to research these companies, how much time you have to put into looking into this stuff. And if you don't, you really don't have the time to look into each individual company, then an index fund is a way to theoretically diversify and still get exposure to an event or an area of the market. You can use an index fund or ETF to do that. And there are so many. Like I don't want to say more because this is kind of on the beginning. This is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what we
Let's.
should get started. That's kind of
Well, look,
but
Mo.
an
Go
ETF
ahead.
is something that you can pick and look at. Well,
Hey, before people start drifting out, because we're at that hour mark,
uh-huh.
we've gone over the intro of stepping in, broker selection, uh, kind of doing that Robin Hood hack, and then going to Fidelity. Get, that's, I mean, you might get a $2 stock, you could get $130 stock. Gone over dollar cost averaging, dividend reinvestment programs, investment strategy, your why. We're on the stock selection, blue chips, ETFs, index funds. There's the next section, the next segment type thing is order types. When you want to place that order, that's a fear factor levels. Like, what do I push? Let me just put this on the screen because I would rather you guys study and go ahead and fill the chat bar with some questions. But order types are key because you're going to have a market order that may be fit your need, which I kind of avoid that unless I'm trying to just get in. Limit orders, you have stops, you have stop losses. So this is a set of instructions, the order type that you're going to give your broker or your particular platform, how you'd like to enter this particular trade. Or are you going to, do you want to, well, hey, Jordan, we recorded it. And also I'll touch on it again, but we were talking about the brokers and we kind of cautioned against Robin Hood a little bit and the smaller brokers, but unless we're going to do that hack, but I'll do the recording on that. But order types are key because that's the next step because you're going to freeze. especially when that market's moving, that live, okay, so you go to this page right here with that link that's in Investopedia, and you can look over to the left side, and you can have different types of orders. You have the market order definition, your limit order, which I use often. And Mo, you're a limit order guy.
Yes, yes, most
Uh,
definitely.
Stop order. It's just, and I'm a trailing stop individual as well. Now look on the left side, everyone. That link that I put in there is really big, man, because we can go strategy analysis, beginner day. Avoid day trading, guys. We're investing right now. Mo and I are traders. We're at the core. We're in long-term investors. Uh, the next one, you have risk money management. I don't like the day trading introduction right there. We'll wipe that a little bit. But the next step, guys, investment psychology. You, that a lot of people have lost money uh, in this particular the Corona waterfall because of 401k is allocated in certain ways, and that drawdown at 30% hit. But if you have 10 to 15 years to retirement, this could be a blessing in disguise to an extent. If you are able to research right now and study and find, there's going to, okay, we had that downturn, but there's a certain sector and set historically where they lead the return to prominence, this could take a year, 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, but at that time there's an accumulation that occurs in certain sectors where whether you're stacking cash or if someone's buying in the financial sector or Visa or the fintech or the technology sectors or the discount Dollar General, things like that, Ross. There's certain that I'm not giving recommendations. I'm just giving just things to jog you, just to prompt you to think. I want us to, over the next, I'm not going to hold you all night, guys. And Mo and I were talking about this. If you have more questions with me and Mo, for me, I put my email in the chat. I'm going to put it in again. And if you want to join my email list, I send out, it's not just every day. I'm typing it in, jd@yourmobiletrader.com. Some of y'all are on my email list, and I try to, I'll send it out. I sent out the big data report recently where I was talking about all the companies everybody's tracing where we're moving. They're going to do okay, what are we spending after Corona, pre-Corona spending, post-Corona spending, travel, leisure, things like that. They're tracking our data, and that's going to be an actionable thing. And so those companies who track the data are going to be key. I sent that out, and just something to jog your memory, not jog, just be a catalyst for thought. And Mo has a great, my email list it's no rhyme or reason from the standpoint of a lot of it's going to be, for me, a lot of trades, short-term trades, and it's mid-term investments, but I do a lot of option recommendations on the email list. And so you can just hop on that and don't say, hey, when's the next one? Because if I wake up and feel like shooting one out overnight, it's going to come out overnight. If there's nothing that hits me that's compelling over the next 5 to 6 days, it's nothing coming out, but I'm staying in touch with you. Now, Mo and I are working on a program, a research project where we would do a monthly, a monthly report to, like right now, I'm looking at biotech. I'm researching biotech. I hopped into IBB today, guys, because all we hear about is the virus, the vaccine, which I'm not trying to sniff. I'm alkaline enough, but anyway, that's another subject. But IBB is a Nasdaq biotech ETF. I saw some strength in there. Maurice spotted some strength in a certain leg of this sector, and I said, you know what, man? Over the next 2 to 5 to 7 years, I think biotech's going to be something that's going to be really volatile. But there's also a chance one of these vaccines will hit, or any other drug manufacturer might pop, and it could push this into a really high area. Maurice and I are in the midst of researching that and going to provide uh, a report. If you're interested in that, email me and let me know that you guys are interested in that monthly report that I'm working on with Maurice. But also, if you just want the email that comes out every couple of days, just kind of detail what you want in there and email me, and I'll do my best, and I'll attach it, and I'll stay in touch with you, and I'll give you as much as I can, because when baseball season starts back up, I'm gonna be on the road, and the primary thing that I'll be working on, be able to work on, is going to be the report that I do with Maurice. I won't be able to guarantee. We're gonna keep the Zoom coming, so uh, use the chat bar if you guys have some questions or thoughts right now that we didn't touch on. But it's a simple process to get in this market. The bar has been lowered. You don't have to pay $1,500, $2,500 for the minimum. You don't have to pay $30 per round trip on commissions. Commissions are zero. So instead of, I don't know. I mean, I like video games, but instead of buying a video game right now, how about Activision? Activision Blizzard. Not a recommendation, but I mean, if you're gonna buy two games, this and that, Activision, and you could get an Activision, you get an Activision that's $73.92. That thing it might pull back to $56. And if you're in for the long haul, that's the risk you're gonna have to take. You'll take it and say, okay, I'm willing to take that risk and to move into this position. There's no guarantee, and now we go into blue chip sectors, we go into the face. Let's see, I put over here, and I'm gonna hand the mic back to you, Maurice. But guys, when I'm in Thinkorswim, I lay out baskets of stocks. If I have an idea or a thesis that I'm working on, like, a lot of it was negative at one point. Not negative as in bad, but just everything was down. I have an airlines basket, and that sector's been hit. Maurice knows I had shorted Boeing from day one, from the rooter to the tutor, man, just out the gate. And now it's trying to find a little bit of strength. Anyway, you set up baskets of stocks to analyze areas that you feel are strong, areas you feel that might move the market when you're trading or investing. The regional banks is an area I'm still looking at. I think there's weakness there. So I've kind of watched this. These are candlestick charts right here, guys. But Maurice, step in, man, and take the baton if you don't mind.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to address one of the questions that was in the chat. Ty asked, "What is something that would stick out to you when investing in a company that I like?" Um, that it, man, I hate to answer it like that, but that depends. It depends on why I'm investing into it. What I can say is that question is answered through um, getting familiar with a process, and that's one of the things I really kind of wanted to bring up is trying to get familiar with a process, and get familiar with a process and have access to good market and stock information. Um, and I know it may sound like I'm going off, but I'm gonna bring it back. Two sources that I really love is Investors Business Daily and Value Line, and I like them both because they're very informative, they're very relatively unbiased, and they have processes that rank their stocks, and I understand those processes. Value Line has different ranks for safety, for timeliness of getting into a stock, and I know I've researched how they pick those numbers and what when they change those numbers and what makes those numbers change. And the same thing for IBD, Investors Business Daily, investors.com. He has the canceling system. If you've been on any of my calls, I highly praise that system. I love the canceling system. It is what really opened me up to both trading and investing a little bit more.
It's in the chat
But
bar, guys.
the
Can
can,
Slim,
yeah,
CANSLIM
yep,
system and
yep.
investors.com. Okay.
Yeah. And to tie value line, yes, that's true. How I access value line is through my library for free. If I can get it for free, I'm gonna get it for free. I was just telling my guys earlier, I don't like to pay for nothing if I ain't got to. So
Right.
I get a value line access to their, and they print something weekly, and they have all kind of stock picks, and they do research reports. And but the thing that I'm getting to is all of that goes into my process, and a lot of my process is built off of CanSlim. So what do I look for when I'm looking at a stock? Usually it's going to be something in CanSlim. I'm going to look to see if they got some kind of new something going on. Is it a new product? Is it new management? Is it a new system, something going on with that company that would make me want to catch eyes, and which is going to be a catalyst for that price to possibly move. I'm going to look at earnings and revenues. Sometimes earnings may mean more, sometimes revenues may mean more, but I want to see that monthly and quarterly, and quarter over quarter, year over year, meaning that this first quarter uh, earnings and revenue is better than last year's this quarter earnings and revenues, which was better than 2018's this quarter earnings and revenues. So and that just take having the right tools to be able to go back and look at the numbers and look at the growth. But what I look for and what stands out is a lot, not all, but a lot based on the CanSlim system. And so because I understand that system, and and also some of the things from Value Line, some of their reports, if I see something that's on the list of low book value, but it hasn't been there, it has never been there, or there's just been a downturn, then it might be undervalued stock somewhere in there. So what I look for is kind of dependent on that company, but something has to stand out. They got a new product, they got some kind of news, some kind of catalyst that's going to move the stock. And I personally, I like companies with low debt, especially for times that's like right now. If a company has high debt, um, you know they got to make money to service it, and a lot of companies not making money right now. So um,
Uh,
that's
man. Uh,
that's what I look for. Yep.
okay. You talk about, yeah, what you look for. Maurice has walked you through his process. I mean, one of the surface level, and Can Slim is a key thing in his process. Maurice is he's a methodical mover, man. And he if I get him excited about something, I mean, I get him hyped about something. He'll get going, get the laugh rolling. But my wife knows, she gives me the debit card and says, go to Kroger, get some strawberries, get some, some fruit, uh, coconut water, blah blah blah, and just get these items, because she knows if I see something shiny and it's a dude outside selling some jumping beans, they kind of catch. I might put a little bit on those jumping beans, man, because I'm
Man, don't put me on the pedestal like that, because I
not.
do the same thing, man.
Well, dude,
I jump in something quick,
I'm a
like because
dreamer
I'm a
on this.
trader too. And
What's
yes, exactly. I'm willing to take the risk. So I don't let JD put
No,
me,
man, no, dude.
but
Calculated risk.
what I can say though is I do take a lot of pride in um having a process. I teach traders. I have a network. I have a mastermind network for crypto, mastermind group for crypto, and I have a network for stocks and crypto. And you know, one of the things that I stress is you know having the process, and even before placing your trade, putting your things in, being knowledgeable about what the market is doing, what your particular issue is doing, and having some knowledge on that before making a trade. Folks in the network, or folks in the DCG mastermind, we we don't even recommend trading for the first month if you get, if you're in for the year. So um we just want you to soak in and learn. And so I just I don't know. I ain't gonna let you put me up like that. But I do have a network. I do write a report. Like JD said, he does a monthly report. I mean, he does a
Pretty much weekly
pretty
email,
much weekly. But
and
and go ahead.
no, I'm just go ahead. You got it, man. I
No,
just
okay.
wake up and then figure something out. But go ahead.
But see now, in DCG we a little bit more methodical. Our mastermind group is stocks, options, and crypto. We're adding forex and some things to that too. But we write a monthly Oracle report, and we base a lot of our information off um, almanac, information and a lot of historical data, a lot of fundamental data along with technical data, both for the crypto market and for the stock market. And we have a monthly oracle that we go by, we flow by um, day by day. That helps us, kind of have an idea of what we're doing in the market, and um, it helps to form that process. So it's all about the process. It's all about the process.
Okay, look, guys. If you have any other, I touched on something for Selena regarding Alteryx. Uh, the big data report was big, guys. Something that I was working on. But if you want me to add you to the list, you can access some of the older, the previous, the previous reports that I've sent out, because I'll put a lot of detail in it. But Mo gets going with his with the mastermind group and a lot of the information that's sent out there. But what I would like, guys, if you're interested in that monthly report that Mo and I are going to work on,
Mhm.
either email me, uh, like I said, at JD at yourmobiletrader.com, and I'll put you on the list. And that one, um, I'm at the limit on my free email limit, so I'm working on that. But that one monthly report, it's going to have full detail of, like, okay, this is the thesis for this particular month. We're looking at this sector. The idea is uh, going to be for you to make a return on your investment, whether it's but it's going to be a long-term thought process. It's not going to, most of my emails come out, there's going to be an actionable move that day or the next few days, something to think about. I'm looking at trading this company or looking at this sector. I'm in this particular option, the June 15th, $75 call, but the other report is going to be more of a long-term buy and hold for stocks. And uh, there's going to be a charge for that one, because we're going to I have memberships to a couple of websites, and but other than that, if that's not something you want to do, you don't do that one. But just put it, get on the email list, and I'll send everything I have, and we're going to have these Zoom calls. Going to give you the process. I'll put the recording up. We'll have links to the the YouTube channel. It's a lot of information out there that you can access. That's going to be, you can build your own process. And Maurice talked about, are you doing certain things? Does this company, what are you doing that makes yourself, stand out? You have better, or your earnings, what block? Just, he has a process, but what I look for when I'm scouting a player, you have to have a separator. What separates you from the pack? What separates you? Are you the best or the worst? Or are you someone who's has upside and I can link into, and you have a separator that makes you stand out? I put the link to my YouTube page in there. Has some of our previous sessions. Our, I mean, we go an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Mhm.
Uh, there's going to be a
And I
lot
have
of
other I
Go
have
ahead.
other Zoom calls throughout the week as well. So, and I usually post them in the groups. Starting one on Sunday night. I usually have one Tuesday night, and we have this one Friday. So
So
um, I'm available.
anyone, and there's also uh, the other side of it is say, oh man, as a black man, you should not charge anybody to give this information away.
And let's
And
not
but
even go
no, I'm just saying
there.
that's one of the disputes, and I don't, and I see where they're coming from, but like something like that monthly report that's going to take a couple of weeks to put together, and things like that. Yeah, there's a time for uh, a cost of doing business on that side. But other than
Mm-hmm.
that, there's nothing but info right here.
Mm-hmm.
Regional banks. I did the Cardi B Corona brother Trump traded, just little, but you can glean, you can pull information. Technical analysis is a way that I analyze things. That's a 2-hour study session. Trading the airline sector. I did the options,
Mm-hmm.
market analysis session for beginners. That was March 5th. That's an hour and 43 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all information. And then Maurice is going to, and we're always accessible. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Hop into this, get on it. That's my baby girl right there. But anyway, uh,
Reach out. We're available.
yeah.
That's it.
And if you guys have, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all coming tonight. I'm gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. Mo put his information in the he put it in the group in the
Yep.
chat bar.
I'll put it at the bottom because I put it at the beginning, but I'll put it in again.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in again. See, I put my email, but I appreciate you guys coming out. It was a long run. Just email me if you want me to add you to the email list, and I'll update that tonight. And if you guys are open to that monthly trading report, let us know. Send that in the email because um, we'll get you in touch with it. It's going to come out. We're looking at putting the first one out June 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I hopped into, and I'll close it out, guys. I hopped into the biotech sector today, and it's not going to be just something in theory. It's going to be like, hey, I'm in this trade. This is
Mm-hmm.
an area that I'm looking at. I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
at biotech right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
volatile, but when it hits, it hits. If it pulls back, it pulls back. But when that mug hits, it runs.
And
And
our report's gonna make sense of that volatility. That's my goal,
we're
to
gonna
make
give you
sense of that
options,
volatility. Yep.
and not stock options, the derivative, but options to make a move. And just study up, everybody. Thank y'all for coming out.
And thank you all. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Be
man.
back next Friday.
Well, absolutely. And we might do one Sunday. If y'all want to,
Mm-hmm.
I got you. Let's see. And Julie, I got you. I'll copy that right now. And all right, guys, JD at yourmobiletrader.com, and just email me, and I'll follow up, and you'll be on the list. You want to say anything, Mo?
Appreciate y'all. Reach out to me. I'm available. I'm accessible. Shout out to DCG. Y'all know what it is. Everybody that was able to come on from DCG, I appreciate y'all. And if you ain't with DCG, you missing out.
Hey, and
Shameless plug.
hey, Tyrese Darden, that's a great friend. Nikita, thank you, and Julie, nice to
We
meet you.
appreciate y'all.
Antrell, Blair, Bev, Miss Baker, Charlotte Baker,
Yep.
D. Harris,
Everybody.
DC Wolf, Edwards, Eve. I never met you, Jiwa, but pleasure to meet you. Jeremiah, man, what's up, Jeremiah? Marta, KD, how's your Achilles, KD? Is your crossover nice?
Nice.
Tammy Johnson, Trina Pratt. Trina, I like Trina. Ty, where's my girl, man?
Thanks, Nikita and Ty, for putting in the comments. And see, we got people that's in DCG.
Selena,
They know what it is. Like the
got it.
report is fire. It's
Yin,
you can't go wrong.
Yinlin, you lit. And where's she left. But anyway, thank you, Charlotte.
We
And
appreciate y'all,
all right,
everybody.
guys,
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
shut it down. But I'll put the recording up
Hmm.
in BSI and a couple of others, and then also I'll put it in the email group, guys. So
And I'll put this recording up in DCG for you guys.
all right, guys, be
All
safe
right.
and have a great
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 weekend.
weekend.
Yep.
All right,
Peace out.
great one, man.
Yep.
And let's hit the pause. Let me stop this. Let me hit the pause button. And ending the call. Now what? People bow.